Well, see you in another video. Stay healthy, stay safe, and have a pleasant day. Bye.
Om Swastiastu. Good afternoon, Miss Surya, Miss Ari, and all of my friends in 3A class. How are you today? I hope all of you still in a good condition and also with a good spirit as well. In this special occasion, we would like to do a re-analyze again about the previous poems entitled Daffodils that written by William Wordsworth. Let me tell you about the discussion for today's. Actually, today we would like to discuss again about the figurative language, and we have also the additional session. It is about the poet. It will be discussed about the background of the poet. In this case, we would like to discuss a brief history about the William. So without further ado, let's start with the figurative language. So for the first discussion about the figurative language, we will discuss about concept. For the concept and the next discussion will be explained more by me. So for the Mentari, the time is yours.
Okay, thank you for the time that is given to me. So now I will explain you about one of figurative language is conceits. So conceits is an often unconventional, logically complex or surprising metaphors whose delights are more intellectual than sensual. So in this poem, we can see about the conceits like in a vacant or pensive mood, they flash upon that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude, and then my heart with pleasure fills. So why we choose concepts? Because as we can see, when the poet says that sometimes he sit on the couch and he is sad and he thinks about the daffodils outside and puts him in a happy mood and pleasure fill his heart. Okay, next. Okay, the next I will tell you about metanomia. So, in this case, we also find metanomia in this figurative language. So, metanomia is a theoretical strategy to describe something indirectly by referring to things around him, such as describing someone's clothes on the characteristic individual. So, in this poem, we find metanomia, for example, like they flash upon that inward eye. So they hears mean flowers, which has influenced with him sometimes while talking on the sofa or while passive, the image of a lily would come to him and then be graded with pleasures. Beside that, we also find personification. Uh, Analysis before we also find personification, but today we also find some personification. For example, like flirting and dancing in the breeze. So in this case, the poet personifies the daffodils to people who can move and dance. And then the next one is about the wave beside them dance, but they outdid the sparkling wave in glee. So in this case, the poet personifies the wave as humans being dancing and feeling happy. And then the last one about and dance with the daffodils. So in this case, the poet also personifies his heart as human being who is dancing. And then the next one is about metaphor. We also find metaphor in this figurative language. For example, like a house of golden daffodils. Here we can see about golden daffodils. So the poet compares the yellow daffodils to gold in their bright color. I think that's all about me, and the next will explain by Ratna. For Ratna, the time is yours. Thank you.
Thank you for the time that is given to me. Now I would like to tell you about the hyperbole. Hyperbole is a figure of speech in which an author or speaker purposely and artificially exaggerates to an extreme. It is used for emphasis or as a way of making a description more creative and humorous. It is important to note that hyperbole is not meant to be taken literally. The audience know it's an exaggeration. In this book, the hyperbole are and Twinkle on the Milky Way, and also 10 I at a glance. This hyperbole is in the second stanza, and it means the collection of daffodil is so large that it reminds the poet of the Milky Way galaxy. That's all for me. And now Adi will explain about the background of the poet. For Adi, the time is yours.
Okay, Rara, thank you for the opportunity that was given to me. I would like to explain about the background of the poet. In this case, it's William Wordsworth. But before that, allow me to introduce myself. All right. So in this part, we would like to discuss brief about the poet. Its name is William Wordsworth. So William Wordsworth was one of the founders of English Romanticism and one of its most central figures and important intellects. He's remembered as a poet of spiritual and epistemological speculation, a poet concerned with the human relationship to nature, and a fierce advocate of using the vocabulary and speech pattern of common people in poetry. He was born on April 7 April 1770 in Cockermouth, Cumbria, England. Well, the William Wordsworth is a son of John and Anne Coxon Wordsworth. So William Wordsworth is live in Cockermouth, Cumberland, especially located in the Lake District, an area that will become closely associated with Wordsworth for over 2 centuries after his death. He began writing poetry as a young boy in grammar school, and before graduating from a college, he went on a walking tour of Europe, which depicted his love for nature and his sympathy for the common man and the prelude of romantic epic poem. So Wordsworth's developed for the Baconian form of the natural word was established early. The Wordsworth children seems to have lived in a sort of rural paradise along the Darwen River, which ran past the terrace garden below the Ample House. In 1843, Wordsworth was named Poet Laureate of England. Though by this time, he had for the most part quit composing verse. He revised and rearranged his poems and published in a various editions and entertained a literary guests and friends. And actually, when he died in 1850, He had for some years been hated as a saint. His most ardent detractors glossing over the radical origin of this poetics and politics. Well, everyone, that's all about the short story about William Wordsworth. And this is actually this is the end of our discussion. I hope all of you can understand about our explanation. And we would like to say apologize if there are any mistake because nobody is perfect. So stay healthy, stay safe, and have a pleasant day. Thank you.